In this video, we're going to be exploring the relationship between speed, distance, and time. Let's imagine that you have travelled 20 kilometres in 4 hours. And someone asks you what your average speed is over that 4 hours. Well, what you would do is you would do 20 divided by 4, and that would give you 5. And your units would be kilometres per, that's what this line means, per hour. What that means is I've done an average of 5 kilometres in distance every single hour that I've been travelling. Hence I've done 20 kilometres over 4 hours. Now what I've done there is I've used an equation which is that average speed is equal to the distance I travel divided by the time it takes me to travel. And we can use a triangle to express this formula. There are other ways of writing exactly the same thing for this. So I have got speed, distance, and time here. So if I want to find, for example, if I want to find out what distance is in terms of speed and time, what I do is I put my hand over distance and I look at what's remaining. I can see from this that distance is equal to speed multiplied by time because they're next to each other. I can also see, if I put my hand over the time, that time is equal to distance, because d is on the top, divided by the speed taken. So I've got 3 different ways of rearranging this formula. That's very important we remember those. Let's have a look at a couple of examples to help us apply these formulae. First of all, we'll imagine that our distance we've travelled is 25 kilometres. We'll also imagine that it takes us 6 hours to do that journey. And we're trying to find the overall speed. So I have distance, I have time, I'm trying to find speed. I'm going to be using this equation here. My average speed is equal to the distance I travelled divided by the time it takes me, 25 divided by 6. So using my calculator, 25 divided by 6, and that gives me 4.16 recurring. Now the units for this question are going to be kilometres per hour because I've divided the number of kilometres I've travelled by the number of hours it's taken me, kilometres per hour. Now it's usually customary for questions like this that you give your answer to 3 significant figures. This is 4.16 recurring. Therefore, to 3 significant figures, it'll be 4.17 kilometres per hour. I'm going to write 3SF to 3 significant figures. Let's have a go at another question. Number 2. My distance this time is 40 kilometres. My speed is 30 kilometres per hour. And I'm trying to find out what time is. So, I've got my distance, I've got my speed. I'm going to be using this equation here because time equals distance divided by speed. So my time is equal to 40 divided by 30. And when I type that into a calculator, 40 divided by 30, I can see 1 1/3. Now my units are hours. What does this tell me? Does it tell me I've done 1 hour and 1/3 of a minute? No, it actually says I've done 1 hour and 1/3 of an hour. So this means that I've travelled 1 hour and 1/3 of an hour is 20 minutes because 1/3 of 60 is 20. So I've done 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's important to convert your fraction there into minutes. Third example. This time I've got an average speed of 40 kilometres per hour. And the time it takes me to travel my journey is 20 minutes. And I'm trying to work out what the distance is going to be. Now notice something about my question. Time is 20 minutes, but in every other example I've shown you, we've been using hours. And the question expects us to use hours because the speed is given in kilometres per hour. So before I start my question, I need to convert this 20 minutes into hours. 20 minutes out of 60 is going to be 1/3 of an hour. So the time I'm going to use is going to be 1/3 because that is what it is in hours. I've got speed, I've got time, Speed and time are here, so distance equals speed multiplied by time. D equals 40 multiplied by 1/3. And this is the same as 40 divided by 3. 40 divided by 3 on my calculator gives me 13.3 recurring. And remember, the distance is in kilometres, as the question tells me. I also need to round to 3 significant figures. It'll be 13.3 kilometres to 3 significant figures.
Okay, Marie, so let's have a look at this one. So solve x plus 2x equals 12. So what do you think you do first?
Okay, well, I want x on its own, so I would put x equals 12 minus 2x.
Okay, so a lot of the time we want to get x by itself, but what we want to do first is get all of these x's together. So can you see anything we can do with this? Get all these together in one place.
Oh, okay, it's 3x, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
3x equals 12. Oh, and so x equals 4.
Brilliant, spot on, well done.